Hello, guys and girls. MC Stu 2001 here. Doing a quick review on one of the new weapons from the Emperor's Lockbox. They looked interesting, and I was not able to find any kind of reviews yet, so I figured I'd just put one together. I went through and did some of the math here, at least on part of it. There's three different variants in two different energy types, and today I'll be going over the phaser energy type in the targeting linked variant that you can get from that. So basically, let's see if that'll pull that up here. Okay, so the targeting linked, and these are similar to the discovery error phasers where there isn't a proc, there is just bonuses added, passive bonuses. With the discovery error ones, there was sensor linked, emitter linked, and integrity linked. On these particular ones, there's a couple different, three different variances as well, and there's basically tactical readiness, science readiness, and engineering readiness, as well as another secondary one. On this particular one, it's +5 accuracy rating, which is pretty straightforward. Well, kind of, as you'll see here. I really kind of focus more on the readiness side of it, and the math isn't exactly clear, although I've been able to figure it out, and I'll explain what's happening here. So let's just start with, I did this on a low level character, so you can see the skill tree is not filled out, so there is 0 readiness, tactical readiness, or any of the readinesses on this particular character. So if we go over to the stats, it doesn't even show because it's a 0. So I'm going to go ahead and slot the 7 weapons on this ship. And let's do that. Okay. And if we go back over to stats, we'll see that we have 35. So +35 tactical readiness. Each weapon gives you +5. The way that readiness works, and I'll put the info here from the wiki page on tactical readiness up now, is there. So when you go through your skill tree, you can basically, if you max out on that, you can get a total of +100 from that, and that gives you a 20% cooldown. That is a 20% bonus recharge ability is basically how they frame that. And you can see here what it says is that if you were able to put together a build using consoles and whatever, and get 100% bonus recharge on a particular ability, so in this case let's say tactical, 100% cooldown would actually only equal half of the base time that ability comes with. So Fire at Will has a 30-second cooldown time, and if you add 100% cooldown bonus or recharge bonus, that would take the cooldown time for Fire at Will to 15 seconds. And it states here that there's basically nothing you can do to make that smaller. Now, depending on your build, if you're doing where you're using 2 of these Fire at Wills, with the bridge officers for that, or I'm sorry, the duty officers for that, and you're using traits, maybe you're doing let's say a cannon build with scatter volley, and you have the trait that extends out scatter volley, then you could potentially get 100% uptime by just getting a little bit extra out of that cooldown because you're rotating through 2 of them. But at the end of the day, the recharge time will never be less than half of whatever the base is. So in this instance, 15 seconds. But if you're able to extend the duration of it, then that you're kind of making up for it on the other end. But in any case, I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole, because that's not really what we're discussing here. But basically, for each one of these weapons that you get, it's +5, and if you look at again here on the wiki page, what it states for your maxes, the way it breaks down is every 5 or every +5 tactical readiness is 1%, and really 1% is actually a 0.5%, because you cannot cool down past that. So as long as your ship already isn't at 100% bonus recharge ability, then every percent under 100 you add is really for whatever let's just talk fire at will to make it easy. 30%. So if you're under 100% cooldown, which most of us are far under that, bonus recharge, every 1% you add is actually a 0.5% is the way that that's going to break down, because you cannot go past 15. So what that means is, on a ship like this where I have 7 weapons, I have 35 tactical readiness, the way that's going to break down is, when you do all the math, you're at 1.05 seconds off of the 30-second cooldown. So that's going to put you at 28 seconds, 0.95 essentially. And again, obviously this is bone stock. Now, it didn't sound like a lot, and it's not, but depending on your build and what you're doing, and the other consoles and traits and things like that you have, that might make or break the build that you're trying to put together. So I'm not trying to say this is good, everyone should get it. I'm not even sure if I'm going to use it myself in any of my builds at this point. I do have it on this ship here because I ended up with a few of them, but you'll just have to decide whether or not those kind of numbers are worth outfitting your ship with all of these. There's a lot of other phaser beam weapons that are good, that I probably would pick over these, even though you're getting a little bit more of that cooldown. But again, if you throw a couple of those in along with the traits that you have on, like I said, a cannon build, something like that, maybe that finishes things off for you the way that you want. So in any case, this video is not an endorsement of these weapons. I just wanted to kind of get out there, what these do exactly. So basically, when it's all said and done, each one of these weapons is going to give you 0.5% off of your tactical bridge officer abilities cooldown base time. If this was a higher level ship with 8 weapons, then you would have plus 40 tactical readiness here, and that would give you a bonus recharge time, so not percentage but time, of 1.2. So best case, there isn't any ships that have more than 8 weapon slots. So if you slot 8 of these weapons, you're going to get, just from those weapons, 1.2 seconds off of that recharge time. So really is straightforward when you put it like that. Figuring out the math wasn't exactly that straightforward because of the way that they cap the amount of bonus recharge time at half of that that particular abilities. So again, in this instance, fire at will, most of these are 30 seconds for these bridge officers abilities. The best you could possibly get at 100% recharge ability is going to be 15 seconds. Each one of these weapons, again, are going to give you that 0.5% off of that, as long as you're already under 100. If you're at 100, there's no reason to add anything else, because you can't go past 100, and they cap it at halfway there. So pretty straightforward. It's up to you if that's worth it or not, but that's basically what these do. So you do get the +5 on the accuracy, and then like I said, I was really focusing more on the tactical readiness and what that really means and what you get for it. We all know it helps with the cooldown because it says it right there under, but how much does it really help? Individually, not a lot, but again, I find a lot of things in this game is just getting a little bit here and a little bit there, and if you squeeze every little bit out of whatever you're going after, you can end up with a lot of it, and it can really make a difference. So again, it's really going to depend on the build and what you're putting together for yourself. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, please leave those. Follow, subscribe. I appreciate that. If I got anything wrong, or you have any suggestions, or anything like that, I'm always looking to expand my knowledge here and be able to put together better and better stuff. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you watching.